The original intention for today was to sit down, learn some chemistry so I can help my husband with his homework that he's having to do for the first time. I come into my note, which I'm using Obsidian. For those of you who don't know, Obsidian is an awesome knowledge management tool, I would say. It allows you to take notes, upload files, link whatever you want to link in the same way that Wikipedia does, but it allows you to make it for your life. And it syncs across platforms. I've been using it to try to combat the ADHD, which one of the main problems is thinking that you can remember everything. It's a lie. The ADHD tells you it's true, but it's a lie. So trying to take notes, and to be honest, I've not really taken notes my entire life. And then you learn of concepts like cognitive load and just keeping the stuff in your mind all the time. And where does the anxiety come from? Oh my, trying to write stuff down. So the goal was to sit down today, learn about some laws of science, learn some things about atoms so my husband could do his homework. And I go into my graph view just to click around and look what is happening here. So normally in Obsidian, this is called the graph view, and it allows you can change the settings and change how far stuff away is and how much attraction force they have and whatnot. And it allows you to kind of see how interlinked all of your thoughts and notes and files are. It's not supposed to look like this though. Whatever happened in the bottom right hand side down here is incorrect. So I'm going to fix this. Whatever's going on here, I'm going to fix this. And then I'll come back to this to talk about like the structure that's like starting to form and some systems that I'm trying to implement, I guess, to deal with ADHD and just information management better. So let's see what's going on here. This is a book my husband's actually writing. He's a man of many talents. And I started making all the character notes and stuff for him. So what is going on? I'm using, I believe it's Nick Milo. His method with Obsidian is called E.A.C.C.E.S.S. So I've adopted that for the most part with some minor changes. And one of those is having in your atlas have these maps of content so you can get from one place to another. In mine, you see all these farewell my prince MOCs. They are not supposed to be there. Don't know where they came from. It's modified though is yesterday at like 3 in the morning. What's going on at 3 in the morning? I was in bed. 10? Are these all the same? What are these? Okay, so husband's book is historical fiction filled with characters. Okay, this looks right. What's going on here? I wasn't working on this at all. All right, all these trash. Look at the graph. It's cleaning itself up. There we go. There we go. Okay, that looks a lot more sane. Still chaos. Still trying to manage chaos. But I discovered this app has a cool feature in which I'm currently calling it the ADHD filter. If I zoom out a little bit here, it's fine. Or just a random thing just to show you how I've been setting up some of my notes. All right, so we watched Harry Potter the other night. Harry Potter, the Prisoner of Azkaban. In the eACCESS system, you've got your encounters, which are just kind of new stuff that you're developing. You haven't really formatted yet. You want to add tags to whatnot. And then down here in one of the S's is your sources. But I've decided to break this down a little bit more so I could browse through here and find stuff that I'm talking about. So in our films, so here we go. I put the year there so it's easy to see exactly when Harry Potter Prisoner of Azkaban came out. And then the ADHD thing is like everything is interesting, right? Like doesn't matter what it is. Everything is interesting. You want to go read about the person, whatever. What I did with Obsidian, there's a cool kind of plugin just called Wikipedia. Pretty much with all movies is what I do now. Now I'll go in and I'll just tell Obsidian to pull the Wikipedia article for the movie, like the summary. It pulls it in as plain text pretty much, and it will give you the source in case you want to go actually read it. But what I'll go in here and do is just tag everything. Everything that I might be interested in, reading about later, I'll just make a tag to it. So it's pretty much all the nouns. Maybe you've missed a few in here, but don't really care either. So these are important things, right? Here's the Harry Potter of Azkaban. And then if I ever want to have anything about Daniel Radcliffe or Rupert Grint or something, I can create notes about them in the future if I so need to. But why would I be creating notes about them? It's just for the ADHD to appease the brain. Like if it ever is curious, like there's a potential link there. And the effect of doing that, if you go back into your graph, so all of these light pink tags now are things like that, where it's like, oh, I might want to write a note about Daniel Radcliffe some point in the future. And like, I might make a list of movies he's been in or something. Who knows? If you do that for all the things that you kind of ingest, and I've been reading a whole bunch of like Sumerian mythology too, and I'll show you a note for that in a second. second, you end up with like all these just links in the background that are like anchor points for all of your other thoughts to possibly get into that area of your knowledge. So if you go into settings here and you find a button that says existing files only, this is what I'm calling the ADHD filter. With having all these links in my files, whatnot, and trying to take notes for the first time, trying to, what is a note, what is good note taking, trying to learn all those things for the first time in my life to combat this demon that I live with on a daily basis in my brain. This is the button. Ready for this? Those are the files that I have actually created and done something with. So these are all the ADHD ideas that I might have and may go crazy and tell myself I'm going to do something with in the future. No, you're a liar. Here's the files you actually created and are working on, and here's how they're linked together. What an amazing visual thing. And I just started playing with this in Graph U2, so excited to see what else I can do with groups. And I've seen some other cool plugins. I want to try to see how much I can improve this. Just go in, zoom in anywhere, and just start clicking around and seeing, oh, like, oh yeah, over here I was thinking about this, and over here I was thinking about this. And then just to come in and have it, boom. This is the areas of your thoughts. Where would you like to navigate today? So let me show you how I actually do that. On the right, I've got the film I'm going to pull in here. It's Marie Antoinette. It came out in 2006 with Kirsten Dunst. It's a great movie. I want to add it to my film source. Come in here. New note. I'm going to name it something for my reference. I want to know that the year it came out and the title of it so I can see it. Other notes, I'm considering just like doing something with like a UUID so I never even have to deal with the title of the note. But with these specifically, there's chances that I might want to scroll through this folder and find something to reference it. So 2006, Marie Antoinette. If you do the normal search on it, it won't pull the right page because you have to format it right. So I would have to type my note as Marie Antoinette 2006 film, which is not. The 2006 is the thing that's sortable. Now in this situation, I can just do file name A to Z, and they go in chronological order as well. It won't do that. So what we're going to do is come over to our command tab. I'm just going to type Wikipedia, and we're going to search the term that I know the page is. So it's just Marie Antoinette 2006 film. And if you do search, it gives you the first paragraph. That's usually fine. In the case for this, I will probably come back and just copy paste this and deal with it manually and do all the links later. For right now, this is fine, just as a good example, because it's a good way of demonstrating like linking. Got this film, Marie Antoinette. Now, what I could do is just type this in here, right? Marie Antoinette tagged. Look I already created a note about Marie Antoinette at some point in the past. So if I do command click, I haven't typed anything yet, but I have at some point clicked in here and made sure it was pointing to my people MOC so I can start typing notes about her as I learn more about her. I do that with pretty much everything. So including years, I tag anything that's like a director or an actor. It's a linkable point. Links are free. You can link as many times as you want. Go in, French Revolution, let's see, Academy Award, best cost. These are all trivia things. And another note, if I go tag something for best costume design, and then later on, I'm like, oh, looking in my notes or graph and see best costume design, I can just click into that and see all the notes that are pointing to it and which movies have won the awards for best costume design. And the thing I do with dates is I don't care about the actual day of the month. I just care about the year. I am time impaired anyway. I don't need to be worrying more about dates than I already do. So just 2006 there. So this is a simple note that I've just put in there. I've also done some other stuff with like templates. In our eACCESS model here, it's encounters, atlas. We've gone through those. Atlas is a map of maps. Encounters is new stuff. Sources is where we're putting information for all of the information that we consume. So the three that are left in here are, we've got calendar, calendar, cards, extras, what I call special interest, lean into the neurospicy, and just a home note, which I haven't figured out what to do with yet. This is the only actual file in this structure of folders here. eACCESS has been working all right for me. We might switch, see how a different one works in the future, but for right now, you immediately know what you need to do with a new piece of information. So in our extras folder, so in here, I copy pasted this note for the law of definite proportions in chemistry. I did screenshots of stuff that's in the book, which I have linked as a file, so I can just come in here and read it. Where I obtained the file, not important. I screenshotted some of the images that were explaining different concepts about this, and I just pasted them in here. Structurally, where that went in my vault was this folder here that's just called unsorted. All the images you paste, all the files you paste just kind of get piped into here. At some point, I might go clean them up, but honestly, I don't really need to. Obsidian just kind of takes care of all that in the background, and if you want to just display a file, you put the exclamation point in front of it. So if you go into this image, there it is, pasted image, with a timestamp, and then it's showing is with the exclamation point. So that's been working for the unsorted. The other thing that's in the extras folder is the templates. So I'm starting to build these out a little bit. I've got these different kind of templates that I've come up with. So chapter notes about books, events, meetings, and stuff I go to, and all these other stuff like podcast episodes and TV series and episodes. Let's find a different movie and I'll show you real quick what I do with a template. So we've got another movie pulled up, Doctor Strangelove. So what I want to do is I'm just going to make a new note, vanilla note, command N. And what I'm going to do with this is a few things. So I'm going to push Option Command T to apply a new template. On the left side here, we can see that I've got a new movie source template. So that's the one I'm going to use, new movie source template. It puts a tag there so I can search it later. It puts just some structure for the notes. It links it to the movie's maps of content. I've recently discovered there's a spot you can do this in the YAML front matter, but what I was doing with it was like a related section for a tag. So some of these still need some updating, but that's easy enough to just go fix in the template later. I just go edit the file, and then any changes I make to it will be applied to any templates I apply in the future. But for Doctor Strange, we'll come in here, Doctor Strangelove. For the summary, which is where I want the Wikipedia thing, I'll run the command for the search term. And what year was this? This came out in 1964. And Wikipedia, search term, Doctor Strangelove. Search, and then come through here and start linking. But what I'm going to do first is I just alias it correctly. So even though I want to see this as 1964 Doctor Strangelove, so I can easily scroll through it if I want to, I don't want to tag that. I don't want to type out 1964 every time I want to tag Doctor Strangelove. So what you can do in the front matter here is just to give it an alias immediately. And I'm going to show you my favorite file that I have aliases for and explain why they're so cool. So Doctor Strangelove. If you type Doctor Strangelove here, anytime I go and try to tag Doctor Strangelove as just Doctor Strangelove, it should work. So in a new note, if I go Doctor Strangelove, it comes up there and it comes up with the alias symbol. That means it's an alias of the 1964 Doctor Strangelove. Close these out. Check out this file. So, like I mentioned, I'm reading about Sumerian and Mesopotamian mythology. Look at this mother. All right. So, the gods, when you start reading about in the beginning, one of the fun things with gods is they like to give themselves many names and many titles, and they like to announce all of their names and all of their titles at all of the events. And I am a person personally who has trouble keeping track of like a lot of names. The aliases section in the front matter has been amazing. This is this guy Enki. All of the titles of like the two things that I've read so far about all of the things that this guy is called and all the things that he calls himself and all the things that the other guys call him. Dude's got a resume going for him just with his titles. You could tell a story without saying nothing except his titles. Look at all these guys. This is a cool thing. So just with this single file, and what I've done here with all of these aliases, I did it once with Dr. Strangelove, but anywhere in any of my notes now that I'm thinking or reading and taking notes about, and I'm like, oh, I have a thought about Enki, just tag one of the many random things that you've tagged in here, and you're going to get to the right note. A really powerful kind of thing. Look, I just have to point out that the Mesopotamian god of magic is wearing the sorting hat, and time is a big flat circle. The last thing I'll say about the aliases is look what I did, okay? I don't speak Arcadian, I don't speak Sumerian, but Obsidian will let you alias those things because they're just characters, but these are their name, the god's name in cuneiform. All right, so we're through the extras. We're through encounters. We're through Atlas. That leaves, what are we left with? Cards. We are left with special interests and calendar. Calendar is real simple, and to be honest, it's the area that I'm working on the most with ADHD. Like time blindness is a weakness of mine. I will say I'd have no idea how long it will actually take to take something, and things I have a bad tendency to believe I can just get them done tomorrow, no matter how hard they are. So trying to calendar better, trying to take daily notes and journal better. So that's where you put any kind of your time note. And the thing I'll say about that for right now is that I've got the calendar plugin installed. Oh, I'm sorry, the periodic notes plugin. I just switched it. It comes built in with the daily notes plugin as a core plugin, but there's a different one called periodic notes, which it has the same functionality. So it gives you a little calendar and you can click on it And if you click on it and a note's not there, it will say, yes, create a note. And then this note is created in that calendar folder, just sorted in there. I think like every 333 words I write for the day, in the daily note, I get a little dot. Obviously, I'm not doing this very much, and it's a thing that I'm trying to improve on. The structure's there, and it's easy to do. You just click it, you write the note, you say your actions for the day, and you've got something all of a sudden then through time that exists that your ADHD brain can't understand. That leaves only the special interest section. I'm starting to publish more to YouTube, and we're writing books, and husband has got art to sell. We're just doing a bunch of stuff. So anything that I'm considering a project right now is going under this folder. I'm still working on developing some kind of like tags to see what's in progress and what I need to do for the day. It's all a whole thing. Getting better with task management, calendaring, it's a whole thing with ADHD. So working on it. It's a thing in progress. Any new note that fit into these projects just drop into here rather than the last spot that I haven't really talked about a lot is this card section. All the cards is just everything. The note should be, I'm aiming for the note's true name is like a concept. What is this note actually about? What is its true purpose? So we've got all of these in here. They're not sorted really, except in a very small thing that I've came up with so far, and I'll probably add a few more as I go along. But I've got a few things in here that are very specific kinds of notes or cards. Anything that's just like a how-to. How do I type this symbol on the keyboard, for example? I know this is a question that I will ask myself or Google, so I just make this a kind of note, name it a certain way, and they all get thrown in this folder. And then magic numbers and lists. Lists is just exactly what it is. Lists of whatever. So there's a note in there like lists of primes under 100. Who knows why I might need that in the future, but it's one less thing I have to look up for when I eventually will want to know how many primes are there under 100. I have a note that's just my social security number, for example, and it's tagged as like the note in it is just Adam's social security number. And so numbers like that, or phone numbers, or anything, I guess membership numbers, anything that's a number that I'm supposed to remember somewhere. I have a password manager too, but if I just need quick reference to some kind of stupid number that's supposed to be in my memory, I've got that section, and it's called magic numbers. Avogadro's number, it's a universal constant, which magic number in my opinion. I'm an engineer, I don't know. So that's kind of the whole structure of it. Encounters for new stuff, atlases for your maps of where stuff's going, calendar for your time-based events. We can use the periodic notes plugin to do weekly notes and monthly notes and yearly notes if we want to. Not that far yet, but maybe in the future. And then we've got extras in the form of things I'm pasting in there in files that are just kind of unsorted, and I let Obsidian handle them in the background. Our sources are everything I'm gaining knowledge about and trying to take notes about, so the knowledge sticks around. And then my special interest section, which is just kind of a place that I'm collecting all of our current projects and where I'll probably start putting projects in the future. That's how I've been using this. Fix my graph. This is cool. It's starting to build a little bit. I turned this on here so it can pretend that I have more knowledge than I actually do. This is an awesome tool. I highly suggest anyone who has trouble with folders and files, give this a shot. It's different. We've all used Wikipedia, but this is different. And my opinion with it is just embrace the chaos and write the notes down, and structure will form. I didn't What you're seeing on the screen here with my graph is I showed you what I did with movies. I'll just link to everything I may find interesting. And just with a few little, like, okay, I'm pointing all the movies to one note, for example, or I'm organizing things with tags. The structure will slowly start to form. I've only got about 400 files in my vault right now, but you can start to see these with the settings I have on here, where all of your interests lie and like how interlinked everything is. And it's a really cool app. I was going to record myself doing some homework problems and trying to make a maybe new chemistry channel where I teach you how to do your homework. But since we got distracted with trying to fix the vault, we'll make this into Obsidian video and how I lay out my new information. And we can come back, revisit this once I've learned it a bit more and gotten better with it. But if you've got any recommendations for cool plugins or anything I should check out, leave them in the comments. If you have any cool tips or tricks, I want to know them. This is the first app I've used in a while where I'm like, I need this on everything. This is the thing I will consult for like this purpose, and the purpose is like stuff I have in my brain. So let me know. And I guess if you want to see me teach you chemistry, put that in the comments too, or chase in any kind of content idea that crosses our mind right now, but also there's effort involved with that. So bold new worlds. If you found this helpful, like, comment, subscribe. slap the bell. You know the routine. Do the stuff.